Hello everybody and welcome back to Steve's Gear. And today we're going to take a look at the Wurkkos TS28 flashlight. The Wurkkos was kind enough to send this one out to me, so big thank you to them. I've been testing it out kind of off and on for about the last week. So I want to kind of give you guys initial impressions of it. We'll go over some of the features of it and some of the functions. And I'll give a few pros and cons and let you decide if this might be something that work good for you. Now, this flashlight is currently on sale if you happen to watch this video the day that it goes live. It's on sale on their website for about $32.99, and on Amazon after the coupons, it's about $37.99. So if you're interested in picking it up, I'd recommend checking out the website and check it out on Amazon, see which one works best for you. Now, after the sale ends, I don't think this one will go up in price too much. Just keep your eye on both of those sites, and you'll probably be able to still find it for a good deal. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at this box. Kind of just your standard Wurkkos box, but it's a nice box. There's some specs there if you want to pause and kind of read through that. Inside the box, you do get a few accessories. You get a lanyard and a couple replacement O-rings in there. You get your user manual, and you get your USB-C to USB-C charging cable. Let's go ahead and take a look at the light. Now, I think it's a pretty nice looking light. It does have a little bit of robust, kind of look to it. It's a good fit in the hand. It's not too big, but it's not too small. You can get a full grip on it. Very easy to grip it tight if you needed to. It's not incredibly big here. I just kind of brought out kind of like a standard size Sharpie to put next to it. As you can see, it's even a little bit, just a hair shorter than a normal Sharpie. So it's not too long. But yeah, it's a pretty nice looking one. It has a stainless steel striker ring there. As you can see, it has a smooth style reflector down there with an LED. Now this LED is the SFT 70.2. So you're going to get a little bit more throw out of this one. This one's going to have more of a hot spot, a little bit more farther of a throw. We'll talk about some of the specs here in just a few minutes. Down here on the bottom, you're going to get a little port, a little hole here if you want to put your lanyard on it, and then you're going to get a magnetic base here on the bottom. Now, it's a pretty powerful one, so we'll go ahead and take a look at this battery real quick. The battery this comes with is the Wurkkos 21700 5000 milliamp hour battery. And one cool thing about this flashlight is you can actually use this reverse power. So if you're out somewhere and your cell phone completely dies, or your earbuds or something like that, you can actually reverse charge off this flashlight to give yourself a little bit of a boost on your device. So that's kind of a cool function. Now, it does just have this one button here in the middle. Now, the operation of this flashlight is very simplistic. It can be a little bit more complicated. It does give you two different UIs to choose from, but there's not a whole lot of fanciness with it. So, which I think is a good thing. Some flashlights, it's nice just to have one that's basic to operate. I always think about people like my dad or something that's not, not super good at flashlights and special modes and all these different things. Sometimes he just wants one that will just work good, and I think this would be a good option for at least someone like him. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the operations of it. Now, it operates like most standard flashlights. If you go ahead and just hold down the power button, you're going to enter into what they call eco mode, or I guess you could kind of call it moonlight mode. It's 3 lumens. Now, one more press on there. It's going to turn off. Then you can go down to your low, hold the button down, medium, and high. Now, as you can see, this does have that little bit more of a defined hotspot. It does have a decent amount of throw, but it is definitely a pretty good hotspot on this one. So you do get that little bit farther of distance on it. Now, taking a look at the different modes here, your low mode is going to come in at about 45 lumens. Your medium mode is going to come in at 250 lumens. And your high mode is going to come in at 950 lumens. And then you double tap for that turbo, and you're going to get 3,200 lumens. Now, 3,200 lumens is pretty darn good. It has a 506 meter throw on it, so it's going to reach out pretty far. Now, strobe warning here, you can triple click this, get into strobe, triple click it again, get into SOS, triple click it again, and you get into your beacon mode. So you do get those 3 other modes on there as well. Now, one thing about this flashlight is if you're not a huge fan of the stepping modes, of holding it down and stepping between different things, you actually can change this to a ramping UI. Very easy to do. When the flashlight's on, just give it 4 quick clicks, and it's going to go ahead and flash. And now it's going to be into your ramping mode. So now you can ramp all the way up to high mode, click it again, it's going to go all the way down to the low mode. So, and it does ramp pretty fast, which I do like. It does give a little flash there at the top once you reach the max output. So, if you're someone who likes ramping mode, it would work pretty good. I actually might use ramping mode on this flashlight just because it is relatively quick. And, you can kind of, fit in the spaces between just your normal low, medium, and high. I do like that about this one. Now, when the light's off, if you give it 4 clicks, it's actually going to access your lockout mode. So now you can click the button and nothing will happen. 4 more clicks, and you'll go ahead and turn it back on. So you do get a green indicator here on the Wurkkos logo. Now it's going to stay solid, flash, go to red and stuff depending on what your battery voltage is. And when you plug it in, it will light up red and turn green when it's fully charged. That's a pretty good function. Now the charging port here is on the backside underneath this rubber flap. Now this is IPX68 water resistant, so pretty good water resistance on this one. Pretty easy flap to use, goes in easy and comes out easy. Now your pocket clip here is kind of just your standard pocket clip. It doesn't have like the dual slot clip for clipping on your hat, but this is probably one you wouldn't wear on your hat just because it is a little bit larger of a flashlight. Now I would say that's probably one of the cons for me would just be the fact that this is a little bit difficult to get in and out of the pocket. It does work, you can do it, but it does hang up quite a bit just because it has all this knurling on here. And I think this clip is pretty tight, but I think after you use it a little bit, it'll loosen up just a little bit. But for me, I think this flashlight's perfect for like, you know, a nightstand flashlight or one by a table by a front door if you're going to take your dog for a walk or you have to go out and check the mail in the dark. Or maybe you're going to take it out camping and you're going to go on some trails or go out hunting and you need something at night with a little bit of throw. I think this would be a good one. It's not too big. It saves some room in your pack. You could easily carry it like in a fanny pack or a sling bag. Or, you know, you could clip it right onto your pocket. So, yeah, that's kind of how I would use this one. Possibly even like a center console one in a vehicle. You know, it doesn't take up too much room, but it packs quite a bit of a punch. And the magnetic could come in handy at nighttime if you had a breakdown or something like that. So, yeah, just kind of a quick look here at this Wurkkos TS28. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.